Sorry, we're very inconvenient to have lost Brent there. We're just trying to get into a position. We did find the cubs again. They're up here with their mum. And we'll just get a view. They're not that relaxed. So I'm going to stop here. This is not going to be the best view, but you will be able to see them. They were just getting a little bit nervous with us being here, which is just a testament to how little time they've spent around vehicles. And there were one or two branches spiked up, and so they knocked against the steering column, so they just moved a little bit away. Now you can see they're completely relaxed now. Isn't that amazing? Oh, it's wonderful. The light is so stunning. Now they've spotted something. There you can see the ones just behind there. Heads up, ears looking, ears listening. Ears can't look, can they, Genre? They do more sort of the hearing thing. There they are. Now I think they might come back to Mum, who's just behind this thicket that we were looking at there. And if they do that, we should get a good view of them. They're going to sleep. Even at this age, they're excellent sleepers, lions. I just heard the sound of white-backed vultures shouting at each other. But they've stopped now. Yeah, they're coming a little bit closer, these chaps. Well, Genre, what I'm going to do is just depress the clutch, and I'll try and get you a little bit closer. They look pretty relaxed. If they do move, everyone, I don't want you to worry. They will come back, and if they do react, I'll just switch the car off again. They will get used to us. Their mother has not reacted in the slightest. So we will just try and move. Let's watch their behavior. See they're looking. They look pretty relaxed. In fact, they're coming back towards the mother. Genre, I'm going to wait here. I think it's going to be worth just sitting here. They may well come out into the open now. Go away. James, it's got everything to do, and I'm pretty sure that this is true, with where they live as adults versus cubs. When they're little, much like leopards, they live inside thick drainage lines, in amongst thick bushes, and so they want to have a dappled kind of outline that breaks the outline so that they can hide in the sort of they can hide in the dappled light of thickets and bushes, and the spots help with that. When they get big, though, no amount of spotting is going to hide a lion because they're enormous, and so they go this tawny colour, which is really a great colour. It's a great colour for them to be, especially in the winter time, because they're the same colour as the winter vegetation. So that's why they're savanna hunters. They're not sort of thicket hunters in the same way that leopards are. Isn't that a lovely shot? Eating a bit of sneezewood there, and I don't know if you've... Those are those multi-leaved bushes that they're biting on there. And interestingly, if you cut the wood of those trees, or you scrape it, a bit like a sort of scratch patch, I can hear the big male growling again. I suspect those mating pairs possibly moving back towards the kill. We'll keep an eye there. But if you have ever had those pretty disgusting things called, you know, those kind of polystyrene type cheese flavored chips if you like, or crisps. That's what that plant smells like when you scratch the wood. And I wonder if, rather like young human children, these young lion cubs don't enjoy the taste of artificial cheese. Look at that! Isn't that lovely? Yeah, they're all coming back to Mum now. You can see very clearly the two different ages, or maybe you can't, but... Hello Matthew in England. You want to know if the mum and dad clean the cubs or if the cubs clean themselves. Well, you can see them cleaning each other there a little bit. Oh, so tired. But they do clean themselves, but their mums will also clean them. Dad's not so much. John, if you go slightly to the right there, you will see those two there are kind of engaged in a bit of allo grooming. That's what we call it, Matthew. And yes, it's a bit of play fighting, but there's also, they were, just before we looked at them, they weren't being quite so bitey. They were licking each other. And so they clean each other a bit. Fathers, Matthew, will have nothing to do with cleaning them. But their mums will if they get covered in gore and that sort of thing. There you go. They get covered in gore from that buffalo, for example, then they will certainly be cleaned by their mums. Now, what I want you to notice, Chandra, if you can, sorry to huck you, but if you can go a little bit back towards there, that one, that's a younger one. And you can see a slightly rounder face, slightly downturned ears. The ears are just not quite as erect as the slightly older ones. So tired. Isn't that sweet? Oh, it's wonderful. Robin, a very good question, to which the answer is yes, there is a reason why the big cats have round pupils and the smaller cats have slit pupils. I have very distressingly forgotten what that reason is, but there is a reason, and it's got to do with light, and one of them lets in more light than the other, if I'm not mistaken. But one of you very kind viewers told me once, and I have, on account of, I don't know, but so many things you've taught me, I've forgotten what it is, but there is a very good reason for it. So I'm going to throw it back at you, Robin. I'm sorry about that, but one of our viewers, I've no doubt, will be able to tell you. If we do not sort that out, I will do some research at the end of the drive and try and tell you. It was a very good question. This is just, I mean, this is spectacular that we have had this amount of time with these little cubs on our own. We are so lucky. I know the view's not the best, but I don't want to move because we're quite close to them. Alright everybody, we're going to have to move out of here. There are a few people coming into this. No, we're not. No, sorry, the next person's 20 minutes out. Just going to quickly talk on the radio, everyone. Mike, it's Aubrey and I here. I'm not sure if Tax is making his way here. He indicated that he might. But otherwise I'll happily move out as soon as the next station gets here. We're probably about 20 minutes to sundown. So we won't be viewing them after dark, obviously. In fact, after sunset, we won't be viewing them. Now, I'm just trying to get a view behind us to see if the lions are on the kill. I don't think they are, but let's spend the time with these little ones. Andre, would you like me to go back a little bit? Would that help you? Or was that just going to put the bushes in the way?
I could get a slightly better shot on that one's face, but...
Okay. Let me move slightly backwards, everyone. Then you'll... Yes, that's not the best shot. Now, although they are reacting when we start the car, I don't think it's a bad thing. The mother's certainly not reacting at all. They'll get used to the sound of the vehicles, and I think that's positive. Is that right? A bit more? Forward?
Maybe just past the panga and we'll get rid of that branch.
There you are. Hey? There we go. Beautiful. That is so cool. Now, I don't know if you can see there, but their ears are more upright than the younger ones. Gosh, we have been lucky. Every time it looks like we might have to move out, somebody else does, and we can spend a bit more time here. And who wouldn't want to spend time with little lion cubs? Now, Windy 23, you say that the slit versus round pupils have got to do with ambush versus sort of coursing prey, hunting strategy. So ambush predators would be something like a house cat, I guess, if you imagine it ambushing a hapless Cape robin in a garden, for example. It might have, I'm not sure how that would help it. I don't buy that, Windy. I'll tell you why I don't, because a lion and a leopard are absolutely ambush predators. They're not coursing predators. Yes, there's a very brief chase, but it's no longer than an African wildcat would chase, say, a francolin for. In fact, it might actually even be less. So, yeah, that I have heard that before, and I don't buy it. I think much more likely is the other one we've had from Janet, which is that the slit-eyed cats are active day and night, not just nocturnally. The reason I'm looking confused about that is because the leopards here do a huge amount of hunting during the middle of the day, and they have most definitely got round pupils. So basically the smaller cats, from the genus Felis, they've got the slit eyes. The African wildcats, the servals, the caracal, I think, also has got slit-eyed pupils. The big cats from Panthera, the tigers, the jaguar, the leopard, and the lion, they've got round pupils. Those are two theories. Either of them could have merit, maybe they don't have any merit, I don't know. I'm not convinced completely by either, but both of them may or may not hold some sort of water. Maybe it's got to do, rather like Windy said, maybe it's got to do with the fact that certainly some predators or some prey don't move. So if you look at a house cat catching a bird, for example, the bird is often I suppose unaware, even though the ambush strategy is very similar as it is with a big cat. I guess a big cat's prey might become aware of it sooner and it might start to run, but nah, you know, I'm just not convinced about that. There's another vulture flying in. Right, the sun is now starting to peep down over the horizon. I'm going to do one more reposition. We'll see if we can get another nice view of the little cubs, and then we're going to move down. We can watch the adults for a bit longer, and then we'll move out. While I try and reposition, let's head across to Brent Leo Smith, who I've no doubt is also glowing gold in the light of the setting sun.
Oh, Commander Henry. So, wait, let's, what did Jamie say? James and his waxing lyricals. We're heading down towards the Mawati River. And we haven't seen any sign of Karula coming out. So I'm just double checking. It's about the third time I've driven the Mawati in the last while, hoping that the Queen will make herself available for an audience. And if you knew, the Queen is of course a Karula. She's the dominant female leopard on Djuma. She's got two wonderful little cubs at the moment, Shongile and Hosanna. Shongile means exquisitely beautiful, and Hosanna means little prince. And of course, Karula means peaceful. Oh, we got a big troop of baboons running ahead of us. The Chakma baboon. Let's see if we can get a view of them. They might head out to an open air on the other side there, near Twin Dams. Now, the fact that they are not making lots of noise, shouting from the treetops, means that there's no leopards around here that they've spotted. I really enjoy baboons. They're quite fascinating to watch. These ones, we don't see them too often in Djuma, so they're not the most relaxed around the cars. But they are relaxing quite quickly. They're becoming far more relaxed. When we first saw them, they just used to take off. And see, now they jog off, and then if we stop, they walk. Now, they can be incredibly funny creatures, but not a creature to be trifled with. A big male baboon, they're called dog baboons, the big males. Their canines are longer than a lion's. Not as thick, obviously, but in lengthwise, longer than a lion's. And it's very few animals that will fight with baboons. Leopards sometimes specialize in hunting them, as well as I've seen lions hunt them, but it's in your interest not to wrestle with a baboon. Well, that looks like they're all... I was hoping they're going to be out in the open. There they are. So I shouldn't stop driving behind them because they think I'm chasing them and just go the other way, away from them. Now, they're heading down towards the Mawati River, which is perfect spot for them to spend the evening. They're like the big jackalberry trees, like these ones coming up on the left, is sort of their favorite spot to sleep. Okay, I'm just going to speed up, get around ahead of them. Whoop-bah. See, I'm trying to give them a bit more space so they feel comfortable and they start relaxing around the vehicles. See him sitting there, then, directly below the sun. Here we go. There they are. And James Richard is wondering, do baboons ever commit infanticide? They definitely do. They can be quite aggressive towards other baboons. Where are the others now? It looked like they were reasonable amount of them, about 30 or 40. Now, they are the complete omnivores, and impalas really try to stay away from them when they have their babies. Those big male baboons have a taste for baby impala. Okay, they seem to be calming down a bit. I'm going to see if I can get a tiny bit closer. It's always important to do it in little increments rather than bear straight at them, and also keeping the vehicle moving slowly and steadily. Okay. I'm hoping they don't run too fast. No, they're moving a bit too fast, unfortunately. And we might get a gap of them through there. Off they go. Okay, so while the baboons move off to the south, let's go spend the last little bit of this golden light with those incredible Incahumas.
Like a flat, I think.
Now everybody, there are those beautiful little cubs who've stuck their heads up, but they are not alone here, and their heads are up for a very slightly, well, interesting reason. Almost invisible to me, sitting where I am here, are two lions. The mating pair came right up the bank behind us. They decided that they were very relaxed there, and so that's where they've gone to sleep. Gendre took a rather amusing photograph of himself with them that I'm going to convince him to show you just now. But it really is quite impressive. They are so close to us. And they came up here of their own accord. We didn't move. They just came and lay there. That is very close. I can't really move. I suppose we could go forward and do a sort of 300-point turn, which we might have to fairly shortly. Phil, here's a nice question from you, one that is extremely easy to answer. You say, do I ever have the urge to reach out and touch one of the big cats as they go past me? Phil, no. I don't ever have that reaction at all. I feel that touching a lion as he walked past me would probably result in my losing my hand, and I feel that very strongly, and so no. I don't. I certainly, when I see the cubs, yes, I almost always want to get out of the car, go and pick one up and see what it feels like. That, of course, would be extremely stupid, and therefore I have never done it. I did hear an apocryphal story once of a ranger guide who found a lion's den by mistake, and he thought it was very clever of him to actually retrieve one of the cubs from the thick reeds in which they were sitting. And unfortunately for him, Mum came back as he was doing this, and so he showed this mewling cub to his guests as the mother emerged at a fairly substantial speed, making a tremendous noise. He dropped the cub, obviously, and jumped back in the car. That's a profoundly stupid thing to do, one that thankfully I have never done and will never do. There they are. Try and get Mike into this position. Well, let's just sit here for a little while. And Olive, you're 5 years old and you want to know, do these little babies play with each other? Olive, they play with each other all the time, and I know they're different ages, but it's just the same as I suppose you might like to sometimes play with a 7-year-old child, or maybe even a 3-year-old child. You know, you'll sometimes play with kids who are older than you and sometimes play with kids who are younger than you. It's the same things with the lions. They like to play with each other, and they're very close in age, you know. When they're adults, you won't be able to tell the difference in the age between them at all. They're so close in age. Very, very good question. Alice, you want to know about whether or not why these cubs don't come to the vehicles like hyena cubs do. I don't know. I really don't know, because leopard cubs don't do it either, and I said I thought it was because I remember being asked this about the leopard cubs, and I remember me saying that the hyenas are so confident, and that's why. But lion cubs don't do it. They never show the same level of curiosity, and that's very interesting. I don't know the answer to that, Alice. Listen, we're going to have to move out of the sighting now, so I'm just going to quickly get on the radio with Tex. Texan, come in. Because I don't know if he wants to try and come here. Tex, do you copy Tex? Tex, confirm you're making your way here. Yeah, Tex, the cubs are up on the bank here. I'm not sure you're going to get a big Land Cruiser up here, but the adults are down with the kill. I think it'll be fine for the next little while. Okay, everyone, we're going to leave now. And while we move out, I think it's going to be probably a better idea if we can go to Brent. Tucker, you're just four. Thanks for asking a question. I just missed it, so I'm going to quickly ask Rebecca to give it to me again, and we're going to move out. We're going to hand you over to Brent while we get out of this rather difficult situation. Oh, Tucker, you want to know if they have soft fur? Tucker, the little ones do, yes. I can just see that. The big ones don't, though. It's not very soft, and I felt a big one once when unfortunately it had died. But if you feel that fur, it's quite coarse. It's quite kind of rough, but the mane is quite soft. Alright, we're going to go back across to Brent, everyone, and we're going to try and extricate ourselves from what is a fairly close situation.
Dams, but not yet. So as you can see, we're having some gremlins, and it's quite strange.
They're doing nothing. No. Okay, everyone, I know you're back with us. I'm just going to try and ease our way out of the sighting here. I don't want to give them a fright. I can't see the ones behind us. Chandra, will you just tell me if they get up? That's actually ideal. Yes, put on my rear view mirror. Thank you. Now you can see we are less than 4 feet from them, and they are not in the slightest bit concerned about us. Well, this has been rather easy so far, until we hit a little stick or something. Alright, let's go back to Brent. I think he's got a bit more signal.
I think we're here this time. Unfortunately, we've been experiencing a few gremlins, some of those unexplained ones. That's why I just scratched my head and handed over to the technical department, who have greater understandings of zigs and zags and widgets and what pies. I don't understand we have pies. I thought a pie was something you eat. Apparently it's also, what is a pie, Vim? It's a tiny computer. Okay, there we go. Why is it called a pie?
It's a raspberry pie.
It's a raspberry pie. Why is it called a raspberry pie? Oh, that's what. So one of the things that enables us to bring you picture from the middle of the African bush is a raspberry pie. So while we keep checking for Krula, let's go have one last look at those wonderful Nkahuma cubs with James.
Sorry, I had to show you this, everybody. We are on our way out. The sun is about to dip below the horizon, but I just thought that this little pack of amazing soft sotaka, that you can see how soft they are, and they're all just enjoying their own softness just after they've had some milk and possibly a bit of buffalo, and I think that's why they're not playing so much. I think they're very, very full. Alright, here we go. Right, Chandri, watch your head. There's a fairly large saffron bush in the way. There's the sun going down, you can see. Alright, let's go back to Brent while we get out of here, and we'll see you the other side.
Give James a car for one day. One day, not even a two drives, just one drive, and he's managed to break Rusty. How, I'm not sure. Hopefully he does manage to get it started and gets out of the little riverbed there. He has managed to start the car and is now moving, so that's good news. I'm just trying to figure out where Karula's gone. So the kill was just here. We haven't found any tracks of her going north or south, but this is a particularly hard patch after the rain. So I think, let's check Ingwe Alley. Leopard Alley. Got to be a leopard in Leopard Alley, surely. Now that is a good question. Khada would like to know, did the word gremlin exist before the movie came out? Is it some form of technical term? Khada, I would be lying if I said I knew the answer to that. Vim? I think it could be one of the words that now exists from the... No, I think it did exist. I think it is a mythological beast. I'm not sure. Maybe why don't you guys double check where gremlin comes from? See if it was named after, became a word after the movie. I do have some sort of fragment in the recesses of my mind that it could be could come from a mythological folklore. But so maybe Google that for me and see where the word gremlin comes from, and you can send your answers through to questions@WildEarthTV or hashtag Safari Live on Twitter. So I'm hoping Krula has moved into this area. And to look very carefully. Here we go. Come on, Queen Karula. Hi, Safari Ginny. Safari Ginny is wondering about when we're going to get the results of the genetic testing that Panthera's been doing. Ginny, probably not for quite a long time, to be honest. It is an ongoing scientific research project, and they cannot publish those results until they've been reviewed by multiple professors, and so it has to go through peer review. So it's probably going to be a couple of years before that information is available to the public. The paternal study part of the genetic testing is not the main focus and the main reason that is being done. It's actually to have a baseline of leopard genetics for all over Africa. If a skin is confiscated in an airport, they can test the genetics for it to see what area it came from, and that's to aid with conservation in the long haul, which populations of leopards need the most protection. And at the moment, from all the illegal leopard skins out and about that have been confiscated or tested, it seems the majority of those leopards that are being hunted illegally are coming from northern Mozambique and southern Tanzania, which is very, very sad. No sign of Karula. Oh dear. Ben, where do you want to check next? We've been there already today. Want to go Impala Plains? Ben wants to go to Impala Plains. Shall we go to Impala Plains? Yes, we shall. Someone was asking about the sausage tree and how it was handling the drought. I can't remember who it was. It was yesterday before the lion pandemonium. So we're right next to the sausage tree. So I'm sorry I can't remember who was asking, but we did get slightly distracted after those Nkuhumas leapt upon a lion. Nkuhumas leapt upon a buffalo. So there's the sausage tree right in front of us. Not looking too bad, still got a bit of greenery on it. I've never seen sausages on the sausage tree in my time here. Maybe this year will be the first time. No. Well, big thank you to James Dungan. James has got us an answer about where the word gremlins comes from. From the 1920s, in the First World War. The airmen, you started using it, the term gremlin, for technical malfunctions on their aircraft. So that's where it comes from. It comes from the British, or the RAF, the Royal Air Force. I would not have suspected that. Now, since it's gambling Sunday and we gambled this morning, let's gamble on a hyena den I haven't been to in an age. Now, also, it is a Sunday night. Unfortunately, there will be no fireside chat this evening. But never fear, we shall have Facebook Live this evening. Great to catch up with James. And also, of course, we did have that incredible sighting of the Nkuhumas atop a buffalo last night. Not looking very hopeful. I'm looking at the ground. I don't see many hyena tracks. I see impala and zebra tracks around this hyena den. Oh dear. Does not look active. Oh, and the elephants have blocked the way. So there's the hyena den, the Philemon's Dip hyena den, and unfortunately, no hyenas. I really hope the hyenas do come back soon. It'd be great to have the den again. Ooh, that's quite pretty. There we go. Oh, no, I think it was there. That's what I was looking for. There we go. The sun setting through the boughs of a marula tree. Hang on. Very interesting indeed. I think those baboons found Mr. Tingana. So he was just down on the Milwaukee River down there. Now I can just hear baboons, bah, bah, alarm calling in the distance, and I'm pretty sure it's those same baboons we saw crossing over our southern boundary. So hopefully, maybe, Mr. T will be back on Djuma tomorrow. Watch out there, Viam. So while we continue on our nightly endeavors, let's go see James, who's got some avian scavengers.
So there's a nice little sort of silhouette, well I guess it's not really silhouette if the sun's behind them, but the last of the light on a whole tree full of vultures, and you can see two different species there. Hooded vultures, and those are the little ones, and then the big ones, you can see three of them, left and bottom and right. Those are the white-backed vultures. Most common vulture we have here, and what you must always do when you see a white-backed vulture like this is check to see if it doesn't have a honey-coloured eye. And the reason you do that is that if it's got a honey-coloured eye, it's probably a Cape vulture, which looks almost identical. It is much bigger and often tends to be a little bit paler. But I think these are all white-backed vultures, and they'll be waiting patiently. They are not the eaters of lion dung. They will be waiting for the lions to vacate the premises where the, well, once they've, oh, there we go, beautiful. They'll be waiting for the lions to leave the buffalo so that they can go and pick up the scraps. Now, Brooklyn, age 10, you say, aren't they scared of the lions? Yes, they are. That's why they're not, sorry, 1 second everybody, not confused as to where Jean-Andre was. Same place as he was last time I looked. Brooklyn, they are definitely scared of lions, but that's why they sit in the trees. There we are. And they're not on the ground. So if they were not afraid of the lions, they'd all be sitting around that buffalo carcass eating the meat. But you can see they're not doing that now. And that's simply because they are afraid of the lions. They sit up in the tree. There's no way a lion could ever get up that tree unless it was a very good climber. And lions, well, they can climb, but they're not the best climbers in the world. They're not very good at all. Right, now, we're actually parked really close to another Birmingham boy, the fourth one today. And there he is. We saw him from the other side. Remember when we pointed up onto the bank top here? We saw him. Mike, there's another male up here, flat cat. I'm just telling Mike what we're looking at here. He's got, I was just going to say he's got very hairy armpits there. And you can see huge paws, roughly the size of my hand. Yeah, Tax, go for it. There's kind of two sightings here. I think make your way straight to the kill site. The cubs are not there, so I think it's perfectly safe. Lots of males around. So the reason it's safe for Tax to come in here and look at the sort of kill site is because there are males. Very few hyenas would take it upon themselves to come into an area like this. So the cubs are very safe while there are big male lions around. And you can see they're spread out all over this place. I don't think that's intentional. I think it's just random. One of them here, one of them up near the cubs, one near the kill site, and I'm not sure where the other one is. There's the one that was at the kill. And the other one probably actually still at Buffelshoek Dam. all so tired. And Earl, you're in Tampa and you say if a lion ever caught a vulture, would it eat it? Yeah, look, I think they probably would. They do sometimes eat hyenas if they kill them, but very seldom. Normally they'll leave them alone, and hyenas, of course, the ultimate scavengers, so their flesh is probably relatively toxic, actually. I suspect vultures are probably in a similar sort of a class. I think, the more concentrated your food is, the further away from a bush that it becomes. So, for example, you can eat bushes and you won't have you can't poison yourself unless there are lots of poisons in the food. If you eat a lot of meat, however, you can poison yourself because the nutrients are that much more concentrated. There are that many more toxins in meat than there are in. I'm not making any sense here. Let me go again with that. There was some nonsense going on in my ear. Okay, so basically. Now I'm just going to pull that out while I try and explain this complicated thing to you. The more towards meat you go, the more toxins there are in the food. So if you're a herbivore, the chances of you getting poisoned by your food, unless it's something you eat something like tambuti by mistake, which has a specific defensive toxin, the less likely it is that you're going to be poisoned by your food. Meat has a lot more toxins in it, and that's why, for example, carnivore dung smells as appalling as it does compared with, say, herbivore dung. Now, if you go even further down to the sort of what we call tertiary feeders, so animals like jackals and hyenas, which eat a lot of rotting food or scavenging material, you'll find that their flesh will be even more toxic and their dung even more so than that. So I would say, would they eat a vulture? Yes, if they were desperate. Would they by choice? No, I don't think they would. I think it's one of the reasons also that they avoid eating things like bush pigs, which are closely related to our warthogs, but they're omnivorous, they scavenge quite a lot, and they seem to be quite distasteful. I think I've heard male lions snoring before. I think I've heard them going, not like dogs. Domestic dogs I know snore, and not like rhino. Rhinos snore horrifically. It's really funny. Sometimes if you're tracking them, you can hear them if they're lying in some mud or something. You hear them inhaling, and then they exhale into the mud, and they make a noise, and then there bubbles as well. So it goes, and their huge lips flap together. That lion's not snoring though. Alright, I think we're going to leave him. He's fast asleep, doing not much at all. Sun's gone down. Let's go off and see what we can find. We'll go past Buffelshoek Dam and then make our way slowly back sort of towards quarantine clearings. In the meantime, let's head across to Brent Leo Smith and get an update from him as he traverses the twilight.
So as you can see, the sun has dipped below the western horizon. We're hoping to find a late afternoon leap of leopards meandering through Djuma somewhere. So we've checked Impala plans, so Wiem and I came to an understanding, or compromise. We're going to check Zoe's road, which is a road we haven't checked yet. And Impala, no leopards though. You can see how chilly it is. The impala are already fluffing up, and the sun has just dipped below the horizon, fluffing up to create that warm insulative blanket around them. Capitalizing on the latest little green flush of grass. Impala Lars. We'll let the Impala Lars move off. They're probably going to find somewhere relatively open to bed down for the evening. Bud's asking about what sort of happens with the leopard dynamics when Karula hopefully gives a part of her territory to Shongile, and will she continue to expand her territory? Oh, but the sad thing is, as a female leopard gets older, and the more female cubs she has, her territory shrinks, and well, she's got Shadow. And now, to a lesser degree, Salahesh pushing in, and to the north there's Nkanyeni, and then they found Shluva 2005 as well on Buffelshoek this evening. So she's got 2 leopards covering that section, and then down to the east is also Nkanyeni. So she might try expand, but the likelihood is she'll just stay in a shrunken territory. And she's getting a bit old now. Fighting is not something you want to do if you can help it, if you're a leopard. But you never know, maybe Karula will go fight one of the leopards in the north to expand, or she's unlikely to push back on Shadow, as it's one of her daughters, and she's unlikely to push back on Tandi, as another one of her daughters. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if Shongile makes it to adulthood. Now I say if, because before leopards are a year old, they run about a 70 to 75% mortality rate. So there is still, in 6 months, still a good chance that either of those cubs might meet an unfortunate end. Of course, that's the last thing we want, but it is possible. We are dealing with nature, and nature is unpredictable. Nature can be mean, and nature can be unfair and brutal. But it is survival of the fittest out here in the African bush. And we saw that so perfectly last night. And I've watched that clip again of that buffalo. And those of you on the sunrise safari, I saw that buffalo. And I looked at him and I said, oh, he looks very mean and grumpy. And he had an injured, was it left eye, and a bit of a limp and a stiff walk, and that's probably why the Nkuhumas chose him. He wasn't in the top condition, and that's a culmination of him being quite old and the drought that we're experiencing at the moment. But he had to die so the little lion cubs could live. Amelia would like to know, if I had a choice, would I shoot and kill the buffalo to end its suffering? Amelia, the answer is an emphatic no. It's not my place to get involved. I'm an observer here in nature, and human beings, and I do love this phrase, human beings often try to be gardeners in nature. We've got this system that works so well, and everything has its own little niche, and like a big cog, and everything just fits perfectly. A well-oiled, well-balanced machine, including drought and flood, and we just want to change it. We think we can make it better, and in the end of the day, we make it worse. For example, if we had to shoot that buffalo while it was bellowing, those Birmingham boys wouldn't have known that there was a free meal to be had. So there's a reason for all these different things, and it's a very human thing to focus on a very small part of the system, like that buffalo suffering. But you've got to sort of step back and look at it from above if you can, or from a distance. So a buffalo belling, it tells the male lions that the females have made a kill. It might tell the hyena clan that there's something that they might go challenge for. So there's reasons for these things, and reasons why they happen. Not my place to interfere. Where are all the leopards? That is the question I'd love to know the answer to. Hi, Dolly. Dolly would like to know, do leopards recognize their own siblings? I think they possibly do to a degree, Dolly. It doesn't mean they're not going to fight with their siblings once they reach adulthood, because they've been encroaching on each other's territory, but I think there is a possibility they will recognize their siblings. I definitely think the females recognize their offspring. And while we keep searching for these invisible leopards, let's go see what James is up to.
Right, well, we're back again, everybody, and we found nothing so far, but I must just say to you as we drive through here, another change in my 14 days away, or 16 days, or whatever it was. The combretum trees have now lost their leaves, and the leaf litter underneath is a lovely kind of cinnamon-scented, as Brian put it, cinnamon-scented kind of potpourri on the ground. So it is a lot more open than it was when I left here. I've got my leggy blanket on because it is quite cold now, and I think I've got a fairly similar idea to Brent's in that we're going to head down towards the Mawati drainage and see if we can't pick up tracks. Well, can't really track in this light, but we might be lucky and pick up Karula and her little ones, who I haven't seen for so long. Now James Richard, a very good question, and one that's actually quite easy to answer for once. You say, which tree species will get their buds first, and when can we expect their new leaves? Well, the first tree species to sprout are going to be these knob thorns, and what they sprout are their flowers. Very subtly scented, honey-coloured flowers. And they'll get them probably sort of early-ish September. A few of them, I mean, one or two now. It's ridiculous, though. Then a few in August, and then September they will get their flowers. And they will then get their leaves after that. Now, James, what happens with the trees is that they react far more to day length than they do to water. So you've seen that there is a little bit of greenery that's popped up as a result of that rain that we had, and that's the grasses. But the trees don't react like that to rain at all. You can see there's absolutely no change in them at all. They react entirely almost to, well, it's a combination of water and to day length, but it's largely day length that they are reacting to. So knobthorns, first sign of spring is there, and I don't even want to talk about it yet because we're still at least a month away from it. But it's knobthorns that are going to produce their little honey-coloured yellow flowers first, and they're just so lovely smelling. But I love this time of year. I really enjoy because it is a time of expectation. There's a crested barbet up there. There it is, there it is, there it is. It was the right side of the branch. It is, there we go. There is a beautiful crested barbet. Darlene, you want to know about impala lilies, which are lovely pink flowers, everybody, that come up from succulent branches. Darlene, I haven't seen, I'm not sure that I've seen any here. I feel like I have, but I don't know where they are. They're not common here at all. They like sodic soils. We'd probably find them on Cheetah Plains quite a lot more than we'd find them here. They should be flowering round about now. And so, yeah, I guess we could see some. I haven't seen any at Djuma, but I reckon that there must be some around. Not many, but at Cheetah Plains and those big clearings, we'll probably find some quite nice impala lilies. Beautiful pink and all sort of candy-coloured flowers. Remember candy stripes? Just like that. And the last of the drongos are calling. A couple of pearl-spotted owls. No, that was a drongo doing a pearl-spotted owl, which I'm not going to stop for because they're in the distance. You won't hear them. and of course the white-browed scrub robins making their calls. A couple of babblers going quack, 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 babbling away at each other. And a lovely smell. That's the other reason I love this time of year. Just have a smell, everybody. Shut your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose. The problem, unfortunately, now that we're not moving, is that all I can smell is my jersey, which is actually more like a really dirty, wet Labrador. And Lady Macbeth, you're absolutely right. Fever tree flowers, you say, smell like cooking donuts. They do. But if I can get away from my jersey, there is a freshness of it because of the rain, and this kind of cinnamony smell of the leaf litter is being released, I think, by the moisture in the soil. It's much better once we're moving. Ah, yes. Now only Jean-Andre can smell my jersey. I'll have to put it into the wash as soon as I get back. Ugh. Really not delicious at all. And amazing how much warmer it is in this part of the country than it is just about anywhere else. Down in the Eastern Cape the temperatures are not totally dissimilar, but because the air is moister and there tends to be a bit more wind and a bit more rain, especially this time of year, it feels so much colder. And Johannesburg, where I was, very cold indeed. I have a cold shower here every morning, just a very fast one, just to wake up, because of course we get up quite early in the morning. In Johannesburg I tried it once, I didn't try it again. It was no, it's impossible. And then in Natal as well, frosty mornings, very cold. Lovely, thank you, Jeffrey in Texas. Along the theme of a vile stink, let's just get. There were two vultures beautifully silhouetted on this tree. Unfortunately, I failed to notice them in time. There they are, and they're now silhouetted on another tree. Isn't that nice of me, Jean-Andre, to give you that? Jeffrey, you say that you have flowers there in Texas that smell like dirty diapers. Thank you, Jeffrey. That's disgusting, of course. I hope you have other flowers in Texas that don't only smell of dirty diapers. The song "The Yellow Rose of Texas" comes to mind, and one hopes that the yellow rose of Texas didn't smell like a soiled diaper. Not so, Jean-Andre? Yes. Well, those are white-backed vultures, the bigger vultures, and they'll be waiting for those lions to move off before they go back down to the buffalo. They won't go during the night, mainly because they find it very difficult to fly, and also because they are diurnal. They don't see so good at night time, and I think it'd be very easy for a lion to swat them if they got anywhere near the kill. They stand probably about, a white-backed vulture about that high, so say 2 and a bit feet, 2 and a bit feet. And 2 and a bit, you still got them. 2 and a bit feet, of course, is very small in comparison with a lion. There they go. Wonderful. Lions much bigger than that. So they really wouldn't stand a chance were a lion to come anywhere near them. Their only defense would be to fly away, and that's, like I say, very difficult at night. So we've come basically around where the lions are. They're quite a long way off into the drainage system there, but these vultures, especially the white-backed, they'll watch the kill site from a long way off, and they don't need to worry about getting too close to it. They know the lions are there, so they'll just wait around, even though they are quite a distance from it. Ah, thank you, Jeffrey. You say that your stinky plant in Texas is called a dwarf olive tree, and it does stink, you say. Yes, well, I'm glad that it's only one species and not all the trees of Texas. Right, we're going through the Mwati drainage now. Ooh. Oh, it's a diker. There's a Franklin diker there, but they're not seeable. I suppose I should put some lights on. There we go. There we go. Oh, light. Ooh, and a lovely smell of potato bush, Phyllanthus reticulatus. Let me find you one. They're almost impossible to find unless you know where they are. Can you see one, Jandre? And all you can smell is my jersey, Jandre. I do apologise. There's one there. I apologise profusely for the fact that I smell like a Labrador who has had a bath 3 weeks ago. Come over here. Follow me, everybody. Now, Rebecca says she has never smelt this plant, but it's this thing here. It's this rather scraggly bush. This is actually one plant, and it's called Phyllanthus reticulatus, or the potato bush. And I have very, very seldom managed to pick the plant and smell the potatoes. But this whole, there we go. There's a little bit in here, and it's a flower, but it's a totally indistinct flower that smells like potatoes. And there you can kind of see one there. Does that work for you, Jandre? Too hectic. How's that? Just in there, where my baby finger is, can you see that? There's a flower there. And it smells like potatoes, just like a McDonald's. Rebecca, I'm going to have to find you a better one. I was going to bring this for you, but it doesn't smell nearly enough. Anyway, that's the potato bush. Scraggly thing. Ah, it's a lovely smell of this time of the year. Reminiscent of very good times in the bush. Romantic times, of course. Them was the days, Jandre, before I became old and decrepit. Oh, Marianne, not an easy one to answer. I'll have a guess for you. You say, how many species of succulents are there here? Not very many. I mean, we've got the impala lilies, obviously. We've got what else have we got? Not much else. I suppose you might consider the baboon's tail might be considered a succulent, but if you cut them open, they're not really. Actually, they're quite dry inside. What else? There's something called I can only remember the botanical name. It's called a carrion bush. The carrion bush is quite succulent. It smells like rotting flesh, so that's quite a good one. But otherwise, not a great deal of succulents out here. We're in what we call a semi-arid area. I'm definitely missing out a few of them, but they're not that many. And we're in what we call a semi-arid area, which means that we get about say 18 inches of rain a year, plus minus 18 to 24 inches of rain a year. And any drier than this, you get into the arid regions. Those will be up into the sort of the Kalahari, Botswana, and then those sort of arid regions you find a few more succulents, and then into the proper desert regions of the northern Kalahari and into the Namib. Well, then you're going to largely the plants there will be succulent or xerophytic. But no, not that many here. I'm sure I'll think of a few maybe. That's interesting. Gerda, you say along the northern Kruger when you were there was something called a zebra sweat bush which stank quite a bit. I suspect, Gerda, that is also known as the paardepus bush, or the horse's urine bush, or the name has completely lost me, Bushman's grape. And we do get those here, and if we find one, I'll show you. I'm sure you've seen it, but so you'll be able to tell me if that's the same plant or not. Let's head back across to Brent, see what he's found. I'm going to continue smelling my way into the night.
Well, I am in search of anything, really. It's been a bit of a quiet sunset safari for VM and I. We've thoroughly enjoyed it there. Explored parts of Arathusa we haven't been to for a while. It's all those fish eagles at the Arathusa Dam. Now I'm hoping for any nocturnal critter. I'm still searching for Karula. I have not given up on that endeavor just yet. Checking her usual haunts. Hi Callum. Callum is a brand new viewer. Welcome to Safari Live, Callum. Callum has a request for an owl. Okay, Callum, I'll try my best to find you an owl. I think I've got a good idea about where to find one. So I'll start making my way there. We might even find an owlet, which is just the small owl. Might find some bush babies. Oh, I'm just gonna not put the, oh no, he's running on it. But it was so fun, I wasn't gonna put the light on him, but on top of the termite mound, there was a duiker sitting next to one of the, oh sorry, them, next to one of the termites open air tunnels, so it was trying to get warmth from the termite mound. Clever duiker. I think tonight's gonna be a very cold night. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be bitterly cold. So a good place to look for owls is in dead trees. Like some of the owl species we get are quite big, so they like to sit on a more open perch, just like a vulture would or an eagle. Well, it is great to have Commander Bond back from holiday. A very entertaining human he is, and great to have him in camp. Quite scary that we've actually known each other for over 10 years now. So we saw something quite strange a few nights ago, and that was the Verreaux's or giant eagle owl sitting in the Wahlberg's Eagle's Nest on Wahlberg's Eagle Road. So definitely going to pop past there before the end of drive to see if it's still there. I think it might have just been found it a good spot to have a sit down. I'm not convinced it was nesting in that nest. I hope it's nesting in that nest, but I'm not convinced just yet. It is chilly. hopefully we find tracks of Karula on tomorrow's sunrise safari. She makes an appearance, or even be nice to see Tingana. I haven't seen him in quite a while. I know Jamie saw him last week, but I haven't seen that big boy for quite some time. Okay, we're about 2 minutes away from where we found that owl. So, Callum, hopefully we'll find an owl for you. Okay, so that nest that the owl was utilizing is just at the end of the road here. So at the edge of my light, so let's hope that that owl is still there. Or was decided to utilize that tree again. I doubt it's been sitting there for a week. And here we go, we're arriving at the tree. Is there an owl sitting in the Wahlberg's eagle's nest? And let's just see if we can get a side angle on it. Unfortunately, no owl this evening. So that's where it was. It was worth a try. That said, thanks for trying. So from Wiem and myself, it's great to have Wiem and James back. Brian will be back shortly as well, and so will Steph. So great to have some of the team coming back and the rest of the team going on well-deserved breaks. And from Wiem and myself, we'll see you in a few short hours for the sunrise safari. Hopefully our leopard luck is a bit better.
Hello again, everybody. I'm now using my magnificent spotlighting technique to find creatures of the night. I have not found creatures of the night, but we might be able to get you a very nice silhouette. Hang on 1 second. Of some, I nearly said horses. Ha ha ha. Zebra. Rondry, is there any silhouette? Can you see them? They're just come. I think I've gone too far. There was quite an... Yes, they are. There we go. Can you... Is it... That's hopeless, isn't it? Oh, beautiful sighting I've made for you there. Patricia, let's move on from here. You say, Are the smells of plants there to deter animals? No, they're quite the opposite. They're there to attract animals that would pollinate them. So even plants that smell disgusting, like Jeffrey's diaper bush, or our carrion bush here, or carrion flower, which smells like rotting meat, that's because it attracts things that are attracted to rotting meat or dirty diapers in the case of the dwarf olive bush of Texas. So there probably are various carrion-eating moths that would perhaps eat or go and sit on I don't think it is moths, I think it's probably dung beetles, various kinds of flesh-eating beetles that would go towards a carrion plant and is called Stapelia. That's what it's called, Stapelia gigantica. They would go into the plant, probably then be covered in the pollen, and then they'd go off towards, here comes another zebra, I'm just going to let them run past us, they're getting a little bit nervous. So the flesh-eating beetle would go towards the Stapelia plant, walk around on it, not find any food, but in the process get deposited with pollen. It would then go to another one, and in the same way that a bee pollinates a flower, so the flesh-eating beetle would do that with a carrion-eating plant. Yeah, the zebras have gone. They are in front of us. We're not going to shine on them. I'm just going to give them a chance to move away before they get scared of us. Yeah, they're just standing there now, so they're going to have to move out the way or get a fright. And they're moving up into the clearings, as many of the animals do during the night. We retrieve the spotlight so that we might see some creatures. No, this zebra running in front of us. Thank you to all of you for your very kind welcome backs. I know this looks ridiculous. I'm just stopping because the zebras are running sort of stunned by the light, if you like. So I'm just trying to let them get past. Yeah, a beautiful shot there, Andre, of the sunset, with the giraffe-shaped bush to the left-hand side of the picture. There it is. Well done. And thank you to all of you for your very kind welcome backs. It's very nice to be back. Well, there we go. Listen. Shouting at each other. Why? That's normally an alarm call, but I don't think it is now. They don't seem to be being assailed by lions. You can hear them now. They're running off there. There you go. And off they go. Alright everybody, that's going to be it from us this evening, unless something profound happens in the next 30 seconds. Thank you, Andre, for coming along on my ride back. Thank you very much. Big thank you to Rebecca, the heartless redhead in the final control as well. I didn't say that, that's how Rebecca described her. And of course, to all of you, wonderful to be back with all of you here in the wonders of the African wild. We'll see you tomorrow at 6:30. Bye-bye.